The blue-white glow of Earth grew smaller in the view screen as the Horizon pushed deeper into space. Captain Olivia Martinez watched her home planet fade and felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. She was carrying the hopes of 8 billion humans into the unknown. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates," said Lieutenant Eric Boyd from the navigation station. "All systems ready," Olivia replied, smoothing down her uniform. "This is what we trained for." The Horizon had been traveling for 3 weeks since the strange signal arrived. A message, clear and direct, in perfect English. "Greetings, Earth. The Galactic Alliance welcomes contact." Scientists had argued over the message for days. Some thought it was a hoax. Others warned of invasion. But in the end, curiosity won. Humanity had looked to the stars for too long to ignore a direct invitation. The ship slowed as they reached the meeting point, a spot of seemingly empty space near Jupiter's orbit. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Then the stars bent. A shimmer in space unfolded like a blooming flower. Where nothing had been before, a massive ship appeared. It was smooth and silver, with no visible engines or weapons. It was at least 20 times larger than the Horizon. "My God," whispered Communications Officer Deborah Mills. "It's beautiful." "Open a channel," Olivia ordered, her mouth suddenly dry. Before they could act, a soft chime sounded through their ship. A voice, gentle but slightly mechanical, filled the bridge. "Greetings, Vessel Horizon. This is Ambassador Tel Tarek of the Galactic Alliance. We welcome humanity to the greater community of sapient species." Olivia stepped forward. "This is Captain Olivia Martinez of Earth. We come in peace and friendship." "As do we, Captain. With your permission, we would like to send representatives to your vessel for initial discussions." After security protocols were established, 3 beams materialized in the Horizon's conference room. They weren't what the humans expected. The lead alien, Ambassador Tel Tarek, looked almost frog-like, with smooth blue-green skin and large golden eyes. The others were even stranger. One resembled a tall insect with 4 arms, and the third was a floating cloud of purple mist contained in a transparent suit. "We represent just 3 of the 17 species that form the Alliance," Tel Tarek explained. "We have watched Earth for some time. Your rapid technological advancement is impressive." The meetings lasted for days. The aliens explained that the Alliance had governed most of the galaxy for over 1,000 years. They shared technology, resources, and helped each other. They wanted Earth to join. "We offer provisional membership," said Tel Tarek. "Full rights will come in time, as trust builds between us." But there was hesitation in the alien's voice that Olivia noticed. "You have concerns about us," she said directly. Tel Tarek's large eyes blinked slowly. "Your species is unusual. Most achieve space travel after outgrowing violence. Humans still wage war while reaching for the stars. It is a rare combination. We're working on that part," Olivia said with a small smile. "But yes, our history is full of conflict." "Perhaps it will not matter," said the insect-like alien named Skital. "The Alliance has known peace for centuries." 6 months later, that peace shattered. The message came while Olivia was overseeing the construction of Earth's first alien embassy in Geneva. 3 Alliance border worlds had been attacked by something called the Draxun Empire. Thousands were dead. The Galactic Alliance, for the first time in 300 years, was at war. "The Council requests Earth's assistance," said the message from Tel Tarek. "Not your technology or resources. We need your soldiers, people who understand war." Olivia looked out the window at the peaceful Swiss landscape and felt a chill. Humanity had just joined a community of the stars, and already they were being asked for the one thing they had hoped to leave behind. "How many do they need?" asked General Paul Harris, standing beside her. "Just 30 to start," Olivia replied. "Their best tactical minds and combat veterans. Only 30. The general looked surprised. What difference would 30 humans make in a galactic war? Olivia had a strange feeling as she read the rest of the message. I don't know, but I think we're about to find out. Major Gregory Daniels stood with his team on the transport ship. 30 humans, selected from military forces around Earth, were about to become the first humans to fight in a war beyond their solar system. They wore special suits given to them by the Alliance. The suits adjusted to different atmospheres and gravity. Each person was picked for a special skill: combat, medicine, engineering, or strategy. Remember, Greg told his team, we are guests here. We watch and learn first. We help when asked. The ship docked with a massive Alliance warship called the Asterisk Celestial Judgment Asterisk. The name made Greg smile. Even aliens had a flair for the dramatic. When the doors opened, they faced a gathering of strange beings. In the front stood Commander Skull, a tall insect-like creature with 4 arms and compound eyes that gleamed with intelligence. Gray had met him briefly during the preparation meetings. Welcome, humans. Skull's voice came through their translation devices. The war goes poorly. We have lost 2 more systems since requesting your aid. The humans were split into groups. Some went to tactical operations, others to field medicine. Lieutenant Samantha Powell was sent to engineering. Sergeant Alan Nguyen joined the weapons team. Sam found herself in a vast room filled with glowing machines that controlled the ship's shields. The alien engineers worked with smooth movements, adjusting controls and studying displays. They were bipedal with 6 fingers on each hand and skin that shifted colors with their moods. These are our main shield generators, explained Chief Engineer Trelvon. The Draxon weapons drain them quickly. We cannot find a solution. Sam watched the system work for an hour. The problem seemed obvious to her. The modulation is too predictable, she said finally. May I? She pointed to the control panel. The aliens looked at each other, but moved aside. Sam made a small adjustment, changing how the shields cycled their energy patterns. Try it now, she said. The engineers ran a simulation. The shield strength increased by 27%. The alien's skin turned bright yellow. Surprise, Sam guessed. How did you see this? Asked Trelvon. We have worked on this problem for weeks. Sam shrugged. On Earth, we learned to make systems unpredictable to defeat targeting computers. Randomness has advantages. In the weapons lab, Alan was facing similar surprise. The Alliance soldiers showed him their problem. Their plasma rifles couldn't penetrate Draxon armor. Can I see the rifle? Alan asked. He examined it carefully, then made some calculations on a small device. The plasma disperses too quickly, he said. If you focus the magnetic field like this. He made adjustments to one of the rifles. Try it now. The test showed the modified weapon could penetrate the armor samples. The alien soldiers looked at Ellen with new eyes. Over the next few days, similar scenes played out across the ship. The humans kept offering solutions that seemed obvious to them, but revolutionary to the Alliance species. Commander Skital called Greg to his command center after 1 week. Your people are different than we expected, Skital said carefully. You see warfare differently. How so? Asked Greg. Most species specialize. Some are good at strategy, others at technology or medicine. Humans seem good at all aspects of war. Skull's voice held a note of concern. You adapt quickly. You see weaknesses immediately. That's just how we survived on Earth, Greg explained. We've fought each other for thousands of years. Those who couldn't adapt didn't survive. I see, said Skital, though he didn't sound pleased by this explanation. We need more of your insights. I am granting your team more authority. Lieutenant Powell will lead shield improvements across the fleet. Sergeant Nguyen will train our weapons specialists. As Greg left the command center, he noticed alien crew members watching him pass. Their expressions were hard to read, but he sensed a mixture of hope and unease. 2 months later, the war changed direction. Alliance ships, with shields modified by Sam's team and weapons upgraded under Alan's guidance, began to push back Draxon forces. For the first time, the aliens were retreating. In his quarters, Greg recorded a message for Earth Command. They brought us here to observe. Now they're putting us in charge. Something tells me they didn't expect this result when they asked for our help, and I'm not sure how they feel about it. 3 months into the war, the humans were no longer just advisors. They had become leaders. Major Daniels sat at the Alliance War Council table alongside the commanders of 17 alien species. His opinion was now sought on every major decision. Captain Lucas Freeman led a special team with members from 6 different species. They slipped behind enemy lines and attacked Draxon supply ships. In just 2 weeks, they had destroyed 27 supply vessels without losing a single team member. "How do you choose your targets so well?" asked Krex, a wolf-like alien on his team. "We look for patterns," Lucas explained while cleaning his weapon. "The Draxon are very orderly. Once you see the pattern, you can predict where they'll be." In the medical bay, Dr. Elaine Harrison worked with alien chemicals that no human had seen before. She had an idea that puzzled the Alliance doctors. "We don't need to kill them," she explained to the blue-skinned medical chief. "We can create something that affects their nervous system temporarily. It would let us capture them instead." Capture, not kill. The alien doctor's eyes blinked rapidly. "This is not how war is conducted. On Earth, we've learned that prisoners can provide information. And it's also," she paused, "more humane." The concept of taking prisoners instead of fighting to the death was new to the Alliance species. Their wars had always ended with surrender or extinction. The middle ground that humans suggested was strange to them. Yet they tried Elaine's nerve agent. It worked perfectly. Alliance forces began capturing Draxon soldiers instead of killing them. The information from these prisoners led to more victories. Commander Skital called an emergency meeting one morning. His normally green exoskeleton had turned a pale yellow, which Gray had learned meant extreme stress. "The Draxon have taken a desperate action," Skital announced. "They have positioned a planet-killer weapon near Proxima Centauri II, where 20 million Alliance citizens live." Images appeared on the large screen. A massive ship with a weapon that could crack a planet in half. "They demand we surrender, or they will destroy the planet," Skital continued. "Our ethical protocols are clear. We cannot risk civilian lives. We must consider their terms." The alien commanders nodded sadly. Their rules of war were strict. Civilian lives came first, always. Greg looked at the images carefully. "What if there's another option?" "What do you mean?" Skital asked. "What if we could stop the weapon before it's used? A small team, moving quickly, could disable it." "Impossible," said the Arcturian commander. "Their security would be too strong." Greg shook his head. "Not if they don't see us coming. Not if we use methods they don't expect." He outlined a plan that made the alien commanders shift uncomfortably in their seats. It involved deception, misdirection, and high risk. It broke many of their traditional rules of warfare. "This is not how the Alliance fights," said one commander. "Maybe that's why the Draxon think they can win," Greg replied. "They know how you fight. They don't know how we fight." After hours of debate, Skital made an unprecedented decision. "We will try Major Daniels' plan. The traditional approach has failed us. Perhaps it is time for innovation." Greg gathered a team led by Lieutenant Kelly Rodriguez, their best infiltration specialist. "This won't be like Alliance operations," he told her. "You'll need to think like humans. Use every trick, every deception." Kelly nodded. "We understand. The normal rules don't apply anymore." As the small team prepared to leave, Greg noticed alien crew members watching them. Some looked hopeful, others seemed afraid. He wondered what they saw when they looked at humans now. "Commander," Gray asked Skital privately, "why did you really bring humans into this war?" Skital's compound eyes studied Greg for a long moment. "We believed you could offer a fresh perspective," he said finally. We could not realize how different that perspective would be. Greg watched the infiltration team's ship depart. Different isn't always bad, he said. No, agreed Skital. But it is always dangerous. Lieutenant Kelly Rodriguez moved silently through the dark corridors of the Draxon space station. Two aliens from her team followed close behind. They had slipped aboard using a captured supply ship. Now they needed to reach the control center of the planet killer weapon. This isn't right, whispered Nilo, a thin alien with pale skin. We should be in uniform. Open combat is the honorable way. Kelly stopped and turned to her teammates. Honor won't save those 20 million people. Winning will. The humans had changed the mission completely. Instead of a direct attack, Kelly's team spread false information through the Draxon communication systems. They created fake emergency alerts and false sensor readings. The Draxon soldiers were running in circles, confused about what was happening. Meanwhile, Corporal Jason Miller worked with two Alliance engineers. They had taken mining equipment from the supply ship and were turning it into weapons. This is not designed for combat, protested one engineer. Jason smiled as he rewired the mining laser. Anything can be a weapon if you use it right. He showed them how to adjust the beam focus. The mining laser could now cut through the thick walls of the station. The alien engineers looked impressed but uncomfortable. Back on the Alliance command ship, Major Daniels tracked the mission's progress. The Draxon commanders were sending confused messages, trying to figure out what was happening on their station. They couldn't understand why their sensors showed Alliance ships that weren't really there, or why their communications kept failing. The humans are using deception, said Commander Skital, watching beside Greg. This is not how wars are fought in the Alliance. On Earth, we have a saying, Greg replied. All's fair in love and war. Skital's compound eyes blinked rapidly, a disturbing concept. On the station, Kelly's team reached the main control room. Rather than fighting their way in, they used a captured security code. The Draxon guards inside were caught completely by surprise. Lower your weapons, Kelly ordered through her translator. The guards hesitated, then saw Jason's team coming through a hole they had cut in the wall behind them. Caught between two groups, they surrendered. Jason quickly moved to the main control panel. I can disable the planet killer, but it'll take a few minutes. Work fast, Kelly said. They'll figure out what's happening soon. She was right. Alarms began to sound throughout the station. The Draxon had realized their weapon control center had been breached. 30 seconds, Jason called, his fingers moving over the alien controls. The doors to the control room burst open. Draxon soldiers rushed in, weapons ready. Done, Jason shouted. Weapon systems locked. Kelly threw a small device at the entering soldiers. It released a cloud of Dr. Harrison's nerve agent. The Draxon troops collapsed, paralyzed but alive. Let's go, Kelly ordered. Back to the ship. They fought their way back through the station, using confusion tactics and the nerve agent to avoid killing when possible. When they reached their ship and escaped, not a single team member had been lost. When they returned to the Alliance command ship, they were met with strange silence. The alien crew members moved aside as they walked through the halls. Some looked at them with what seemed like fear. Major Daniels greeted them with pride. Outstanding work. You just saved 20 million lives. Commander Vital approached more slowly. Yes, a remarkable achievement. His tone was measured. The Draxon have sent a message. They wish to discuss terms of surrender. This was surprising news. The Draxon were known for fighting to the last soldier. Surrender? Kelly asked. Already? Yes, Skital said. Their message was unusual. They specifically asked to negotiate with the human representatives. Why us? Jason asked. We're just a small part of the Alliance forces. Skital's next words sent a chill through the humans. The message included something disturbing. Their Supreme General Krelvex suggested that humans should be classified as a Class A threat species. This is a designation we reserve for the most dangerous life forms in the galaxy. Skull paused. No intelligent species has ever received this classification. Greg frowned. They're just trying to divide us. Create suspicion. Perhaps, said Z'Tal. But he didn't sound convinced. 6 months into the war, strange reports began to circulate about the human soldiers. Alliance officers filed concerned messages about human behavior that they couldn't understand. Staff Sergeant Diane Collins was recorded laughing after a successful ambush on a Draxon patrol. When asked what was funny about combat, she seemed confused by the question. It worked perfectly, she explained. All that planning paid off. Why wouldn't I be happy? The Alliance officer who reported this noted, subject appears to derive satisfaction from successful combat operations, concerning behavior not seen in other species. Lieutenant Patrick Wilson collected small pieces of Draxon technology after battles. He called them souvenirs and traded them with other humans. When Alliance officers questioned this practice, Patrick shrugged. It's just something to remember what we did here, he said. Don't your soldiers keep mementos? They didn't. The idea of wanting to remember battle was foreign to them. Most disturbing to the Alliance observers was how humans treated the battlefield. Other species needed time to recover after combat. They required quiet, meditation, and distance from the site of violence. Humans, however, set up camp right near battle zones. They ate meals, told jokes, and even slept just meters from where fighting had happened hours before. How do you do this? Asked a shaken Alliance medic after watching humans play a card game near a recent skirmish site. Doesn't it affect you? Corporal Ryan Bennett looked up from his cards. Sure, it affects us. But you compartmentalize, you know. Deal with it later. Right now, we need to rest while we can. The medic didn't understand the word, compartmentalize, until it was explained. The concept horrified him. Commander Z'Tal ordered a secret study of human neural patterns during combat situations. A team of Alliance scientists ran simulations and monitored brain activity. Their results were immediately classified. Humans showed activity in brain regions associated with problem-solving when faced with combat scenarios. More disturbing, some showed patterns consistent with pleasure responses when successfully completing difficult tactical challenges. They enjoy this, whispered one scientist to Z'Tal. Not the killing, but the solving of the combat puzzle. The challenge excites them. Z'Tal ordered more tests. The results confirmed the initial findings. What other species experienced as traumatic, humans processed as challenging or stimulating. Major Daniels noticed the growing distance between his people and the Alliance forces. He confronted Z'Tal about it. Your people are avoiding mine. What's happening? Z'Tal's exoskeleton had turned a dark green, a sign of serious concern. There are questions about human psychology. Your species does not respond to war as others do. We've been fighting each other for thousands of years, Greg explained. We've had to adapt. That is precisely what concerns us, Z'Tal replied. No other known species continues to advance technologically while still engaging in warfare. Most either destroy themselves or evolve beyond violence before reaching space. Well, we're different, Greg said. Yes, very different. Z'Tal's tone was flat. The Alliance is pushing deep into Draxon territory now. Victory seems certain, but some are asking, what happens when the war ends? We go home, Greg said. That was the agreement. Of course. Z'Tal paused. There is another matter. I have received a request from Alliance High Command. They wish to send observers to Earth to learn more about human culture. Greg felt uneasy. I thought that would happen after the war. Plans have changed, Z'Tal said. They feel it is important to understand humanity better. Now, after Z'Tal left, Greg called a private meeting with his officers. Something's changed, he told them. They're watching us differently. They're afraid of us, Samantha Powell said. Have you seen how they move away when we enter a room? They look at us like we're dangerous animals. But we're winning their war for them. Jason Miller protested. Maybe that's the problem, Greg said quietly. Maybe we're too good at this. Across the ship, in secure communications, Sikutal sent a private message to the Alliance Council. Recommend immediate review of human integration protocols. Species demonstrates concerning adaptations to warfare. Victory may present new complications. The final attack on Drexon Prime, the home planet of the enemy, was set to begin. After 8 months of war, the Alliance forces had pushed the Drexon back to their last stronghold. Major Daniels led the planning session for capturing the planetary defense grid. We'll need 3 teams, Greg explained, pointing to the holographic map. 1 to disable the shields, 1 to take the main control center, and 1 to secure the communication hub. The alien commanders nodded in agreement. They had learned to trust human military planning. What once seemed strange to them now seemed necessary. When the attack began, Greg led the team targeting the control center. The fighting was intense. The Drexon knew they were making their last stand and fought harder than ever before. During the battle, something happened that shocked the Alliance forces. A group of Drexon soldiers, seeing they were about to be captured, activated explosive devices on their armor. They chose to die rather than surrender. Several Alliance soldiers froze in horror at this sight. But Lieutenant Frank Rivera, watching from nearby, shook his head and said to his team, "God admire the commitment." An Alliance officer overheard this comment and immediately reported it. The report read, "Human showed respect for enemy suicide tactics. Subject appeared to appreciate the Drexon's willingness to die for their cause." The Alliance commanders were deeply disturbed by this reaction. To them, choosing death over surrender was incomprehensible, yet the humans seemed to understand it on some level. As the battle continued, a Drexon counterattack cut off a small Alliance position from the main force. 4 human soldiers, led by Corporal Maria Vasquez, were trapped with the injured Alliance soldiers they were protecting. For 6 hours, they held their position against waves of Drexon attacks. They used everything around them as weapons. They set traps, created distractions, and fought with a ferocity that the Alliance had never seen. When Alliance reinforcements finally broke through, they found the humans still holding their position. All 4 were wounded but alive. Around them lay dozens of dead Drexon soldiers. The Alliance medical team rushed to treat the humans. One doctor asked Corporal Vasquez about her psychological state after such intense combat. "We did what we had to do," she replied simply. "Now, can we get some coffee before the next push?" The doctor was shocked by her casual attitude. The report noted, subject showed no signs of psychological trauma despite extreme combat conditions, requested caffeine stimulant, and expressed readiness to continue fighting. Word of the humans' actions spread quickly among the Drexon forces. Within hours, something unprecedented happened. The Drexon Supreme Council sent a message of unconditional surrender, but not to the Alliance Command. They surrendered specifically to the human contingent. The message contained one additional line that confused the Alliance translators. "We recognize what you are." When Major Daniels brought the surrender message to Commander Scutal, the alien leader's exoskeleton had turned a color Greg had never seen before, a deep purple that seemed to indicate extreme concern. "This is unusual," Scutal said carefully. "Very unusual. The Drexon have never surrendered in their 1,000-year history." "Well, they've never faced humans before," Greg replied with a small smile. Scutal did not return the smile. "No, they have not." He was quiet for a moment. "What do you think they meant by, 'We recognize what you are'?" Greg shrugged. "Probably just trying to save face, making it sound like they're surrendering to some special enemy, not just regular soldiers." "Perhaps," said Scutal, but his compound eyes remained fixed on Greg in a way that made the human uncomfortable. Later that night, Scutal sent an urgent, top-priority message to the Alliance High Council. The message was brief. Request immediate special session regarding human species classification. New evidence suggests significant concerns. Recommend full review before Earth integration proceeds further. The reply came within minutes. Special session approved. Bring all data. Bring human representatives. Decision must be made. 2 weeks after the Draxon surrender, the Grand Chamber of the Alliance Council was filled to capacity. Representatives from all 17 member species sat in tiered seats that formed a circle. In the center stood Commanders Catal, Captain Olivia Martinez, and Major Gregory Daniels. The room hummed with whispers as the High Chancellor, a tall being with silvery skin, called for order. This was the first emergency session in 50 years. We are here to discuss the status of Earth in the Alliance, the Chancellor announced. Commander Catal will present his assessment of human military involvement in the recent conflict. Catal stepped forward. Honored Council, I have served the Alliance for 200 years. In that time, I have never witnessed anything like what I observed during the Draxon War. He activated a holographic display showing battle statistics. A force of 30 humans changed the course of a war that had stalemated our combined forces. Their methods were unconventional, their adaptability unprecedented. The display changed to show brain scans. Our scientists discovered that humans process warfare differently than any known species. Where we experience trauma, they experience challenge. Where we require recovery, they adapt and continue. The council members shifted uncomfortably as Catal continued. The Draxon surrendered not to the Alliance, but specifically to humans. An enemy that has never surrendered in their history recognized something in humans that frightened them more than defeat. Captain Martinez stepped forward. If I may speak, Chancellor. The Chancellor nodded. Humanity proved itself a valuable ally, Olivia argued passionately. We helped end a war that threatened millions of lives. We've demonstrated our commitment to the Alliance and our willingness to share our knowledge. Yes, our history includes warfare, but also great achievements in art, science, and philosophy. The council chamber fell silent as she spoke. Many members seemed moved by her words. We don't want to dominate, she continued. We want to belong, to learn, to grow alongside you. Isn't that what the Alliance stands for? The Chancellor nodded slowly. It is indeed, Captain. And your point is well taken. The council deliberated for hours. Humans waited outside the chamber, wondering about their future. Some worried they would be expelled from the Alliance. Others hoped their military contribution would earn them full membership. Finally, they were called back in. The chamber was silent as the Chancellor read the Council's decision. After careful consideration, the Alliance Council has reached the following resolution. First, Earth will receive full Alliance membership with all associated economic and scientific benefits. Second, humans will be granted unrestricted travel rights throughout Alliance space. Third, human military forces will be permanently banned from participation in any future galactic conflicts. Fourth, Earth will be designated a protected system, with Alliance defense forces permanently stationed at its borders. Captain Martinez looked confused. Protected? We haven't asked for protection. The Chancellor's silver face was solemn. Not all protection is requested, Captain. I don't understand, Olivia said. You're giving us everything we hoped for, but banning us from helping in future conflicts and stationing ships around our system. Why? The High Chancellor leaned forward. His voice was quiet but carried to every corner of the room. Captain Martinez, the protection isn't for Earth. It's for everyone else. The room was completely silent. Greg looked at Catal, understanding finally dawning. You're afraid of us. Not afraid, Catal corrected. Cautious. In a galaxy of specialized species that evolve beyond their violent tendencies, humans remain uniquely dangerous. You didn't just help us win a war. You enjoyed winning it. As the humans prepared to return to Earth with news of their success, they remained unaware of one final detail. In the classified archives of the Alliance, humanity had been given a new designation. They were the first and only species classified as apex predator. The official reason for the military ban was recorded as, "Humans aren't banned from galactic warfare because they're ineffective. They're banned because they're too effective. They are the only known species that domesticated warfare rather than outgrowing it." As their ship departed for Earth, Olivia looked out at the stars. "We did everything right," she said to Greg. "We helped them win their war. Why do I feel like we lost something?" "We didn't lose," Greg replied. "We just learned something about ourselves that we didn't know before." "And what's that?" "That even in a galaxy of advanced aliens, humans are still the scariest thing out there."